This is another episode of Lone Pucki. Is that what's happening?
I don't know, I was going to play some Dark Clouds.
Oh, while we...
If I just stick around.
Sure. Oh, it's like, where to start?
Yeah. I thought this would be a game that's right up your alley.
Right up my alley.
It's a simple point and click, except you're a barkeep, and it'd be shown from a perspective where you should see your character, but you see like different customers come in, and play as a barkeep whose job is to serve drinks and learn gossip. As the NPCs coming to buy from you, you can tell them the quest and potentially get a cut of the quest as long as they survive. Like you come in to you hear a story about a dragon that has a bunch of gold, and you're got these fucking halflings, and you're like, hey halflings, go get the gold, and they never come back, and you're like, oh, well that's why they never came back.
They didn't come back to celebrate, so they ain't coming back.
And then, maybe, like, potentially you start getting into a market where you buy and sell weapons. Because that's what the adventurers do. They come back with a bunch of these. But you gotta think, it's like, what can I buy? Maybe, it's mostly like remembering gossip and trying to, like, keep in your own diary. You heard a customer say he could really use a silver sword. A couple days later, somebody comes in to sell a silver sword, and you're like, just in case that customer comes back. And there's no guarantee, but it'd be like an algorithm.
So, a game where you're just an NPC?
Pretty much, yeah.
The PC is the NPC?
You are the NPC. You deal with, like, a fictional world where all the other characters are experience the fun, and your job is to help them experience the fun while keeping them alive. I mean, you could send all of them there.
Well, I'm going to be real with you. I know this is a point-and-click game, but this just sounds like being on part of a roleplay server.
Could be, I mean.
Like, you could do all of this for a roleplay server.
It depends on...
Like, if we got enough friends together on a private server, like, realistically, all of your hatred aside, we could do even just a GTA roleplay where it's just, we're doing our own world. Yeah, you'll need your Xbox, and then we could have at least 4 of us.
Well, he's on play. It's
fucking
costly,
around.
right?
I don't honestly know.
I think it is.
Yeah, I don't know. So I was, I'm constantly coming up with different character ideas and stuff for Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
And I like, every now and then I like to write a couple down. And I've had a few, like, really dumb ideas lately. But yeah,
it's a pretty bird.
I've jotted down a couple of character ideas here. I mean, Tumblewumba, my obsession as of late, of course. Yeah, I love my Tumblewumba character I've been crafting, but a couple other dumb little bit ideas I've come up with, maybe good one-off characters. But yeah, a couple I've thought of recently, like a necromancer who, like, this isn't even maybe a playable character, but an NPC. But he's a necromancer who created an airline, but resurrecting the skeletons of dragons. He puts seats into the ribs and stuff, and he just charges people to ride the fucking skeletal dragon from location to location.
So that's definitely more of an NPC.
That's a sick NPC thing, though. That'd be real, like, when you're in a big fucking fancy city. That's a usable idea for world building. Ooh, another world building idea that I thought was really cool was you create, like, a point where, like, there's an ice volcano that you're meant to go up to once you're higher level. You eventually give them a quest for it. But it's one of those, like, features of the world that are notable as you're traveling around. There's a little volcano that spews, like, ice and freezing water. When you finally get to the top, you realize that it's actually a hollowed out crater in the top of a mountain that holds an ice dragon.
See, what you can do is if we actually sit down and get people to show up, start making these games, and do like some famous authors have done, use the games to actually write stories.
Oh, yeah, that'd be super fun.
Like the author Raymond D. Feist even accredited.
Maybe we can turn our campaigns, like, after they're done,
into short stories?
Into comics. Like, take notes of the campaigns and then turn them into comics.
See, that's one thing I've always wanted to do.
But I know I initially brought up how the characters I've been coming up with. I mentioned this one to you recently. It's I guess I had a little bit of a fitness kick here mentally. Like, a monk gym. A mountaintop place where men go to develop their muscles and form the ultimate bond between brothers. Like, literally just like, because D&D monks are, an unarmed combat style.
Yeah, but make gym bros.
But yeah, just a bunch of gym bros that are up there just like, their religion, their monkhood is fitness.
You want to go work out? You want to go pray?
Like, let's go get our reps in.
You need a fucking hug?
Let's go get our reps in. You this guy gets in your party, he's on your team, and he's just like, woo! Let's fucking go!
Come on, brothers! Let's fuck these people up! But keep safe, because I love you all.
And then he fucking he rips a fucking stone pillar out of the ground and starts curling it with one arm as he beats you down with the other hand.
You see its HP.
Fucking dead, and you die.
I could see it, like... So, I mean, build your own world, man, and that's the thing, like,
I think that's what I need. I need to build the world and then hand it over to you to write campaigns in.
So, when you say campaign, you want me to, like, what's going on in the world?
Here's the world. No, here's the world. If you need any more details filled in on, like, smaller things, like the people in the city or something, I craft it even deeper, I can.
Oh, like what?
And then you have all this to work with. And you create the campaign within that existing world. I give you the universe to write the stories in. And then, even with me knowing the world, I don't have to know what's coming.
Do you have, like, a spiritual world? Like, do you have gods and goddesses? Do you have...
I mean, personally, I've only barely started homebrewing one religion, but it's all stuff I can do.
I mean, we can use, like, my baseline of what I have, where I have the creation of the world, and the affliction of mankind and everything, what makes monsters, and then I can use that, add a bunch of your characters to it.
You give me the basics of the world, I craft the world in it, and then you craft the quests in the world.
Like, basically, yeah, it's like, so I did the space, stars, and gods. You make the countries.
Yes.
Because I have one country, and, like, I have a whole map that's just one spot used up. So you can be like, hey, I like the way this thing looks. In this place, there's from here to here is where a bunch of these characters will take place. So then we just back and forth ideas of, like...
I can definitely get into that.
Even though, like, the affliction happens in one continent, you could still use, like, the idea of everything.
But that's also a potential spreading scourge that there can be a fear of, or like, you don't even know this dark wave is coming in some locations.
It's been... Everybody knows about it. The affliction is what calls the undead. Like, not undead.
See, but there you go. Everybody knows about it. My world builder goes, great, everybody knows about it. Except this small, isolated place that's in an almost unreachable area that's cut off from information, and the world hasn't yet even been reached by the affliction.
I could send you a map of what the world's going to be.
So that's a quest line.
Here's an island
That's a quest line that can come after these characters have gotten a good 10 levels or something, and they've established this world in the way it is, and then suddenly throw them into a place that is clean and pure, and you have to stop the flood from happening to them as well.
Well, it's... Infliction's a bad word.
That's just me saying, that's just a small idea in the world I barely know anything about.
And I like it. You took a part of it and went with it. And so that means once you get a good idea of what the world is about, you can make more selective ideas about what you want your characters to be. Like, for example, the orcs in the world are stereotypical orcs. And so if Tumblewumba was in it, that's not like a normal thing, and so that's perfect. He's breaking the wall, or the stereotypical lines of what... Oh, sorry, people. Of what an orc is supposed to be. Instead of him being the whole... Who knows?
I've still been working on him. I got more headcanon than I've told you in weeks.
Like, because he's
So Tumblewumba, I got more backstory.
Is he orc or half-orc?
Tumblewumba is a half-orc. He was raised in a... Not like slavery, but servitude, He was...
indentured servant?
No, not even indentured servant. Like, he... Kind of like, like butlers live in a house and, serve under a higher class family. He was training underneath a chef there he was in a household raised to work in the household of a high elf family. So
the high elves teach.
So the orcs were like, the maids and the cooks and they I haven't crafted the whole like household in depth, but he was just he was a servant in a household willingly. Right. But like, he was raised there from childhood to work in the kitchen. Eventually, his goal was to become the chef of the house.
I want to be Hokage.
And along the way, he happened to make his best friend happened to be the son of the lord of the house, because the boy was just a little younger than him, and they took their classes together because they hired tutors to come in and teach them. So he's actually, for a half-orc, he's actually raised in a pretty, like, well-sophisticated, high society environment, with still the respectful humbleness of someone who lived in the environment but wasn't the one running it.
Manners, but not uppity.
Again,
not posh.
Yeah, very, very high class, but knowing his place.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like how a butler might talk shit to someone on the street, but they know when the presence of a lord, how to behave. So like he's actually pretty pretty well versed, well read, and really a genuinely good person. A little bit of an anger problem, being that he is a barbarian by class. Barbarian.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So yeah, he does have a slight anger problem, but it's not really something he came to learn early on. Then sometimes he'd get mad, but he was all right. He was a smart kid.
He'd get mad and smart.
Problem was, at one point at early teen years, the cook was out on business, and he was actually left to prepare the meal for the night. And unfortunately, he undercooked some chicken, which to him, no problem.
His chicken rare.
Yes, this is a fun fact about Chumbawamba. He has an unnatural immunity to salmonella disease. The salmonella virus. He actually enjoys his chicken cooked slightly rare. He likes the taste. He likes the chew. He likes. He enjoys it that way, and it was his chance to make
of it. You
get the real good char on the outside, just like a medium, like a rare burger or a steak.
Like I'm not gonna lie, you can't say a bloody steak's okay and then be like, ew, chicken.
But yeah, exactly. So he was like, I'm gonna make him my favorite meal, my special Tumba's chicken.
Is he meant to be a main character or?
He is not a one-off character. He is
not a one-off. I said, is he a main character or is he an NPC?
Oh, this is one of my player characters for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, so he made his favorite meal for the family, and it turned out to be undercooked chicken.
Well, okay, so that's the thing for story-wise, depending on how you want to do. If you want to
giving. Unfortunately, most of the family a bad case of food poisoning, and causing the son of the Lord and his best friend to become terribly sick. Now, they forced, in his anger, the Lord, banished him from the grounds and sent him packing. So Chumbawamba stole him a chef hat and grabbed his spare belongings and left.
His clean
still, for as far as he knows, he could have killed his best friend, and at this point is convinced he did.
So is he better about it, or?
He's very sad about it. It's a sensitive topic, and
you'd think he would learn to not make rare chicken anymore.
Well, he did to an extent. He calls it when he makes chicken. Sorry. He does point out, he's like, I can burn it for you weak stomachs. That's how he likes to put it. Tumba.
And yet he almost kills a person.
Tumba can ruin chicken for weak stomachs.
What a dick.
But he does have the consideration to try not to poison those around him. But yeah, I think his main style, and obviously he's going to be a combatant. I've told you he's going to carry a cleaver in one hand, and if he chooses to dual wield, he's going to pull out his trusty cast iron skillet. Nice heavy cast iron pan. And one of an item I've also decided on, if you allow it, of course, is he's also going to carry like a small you can get small portable kegs. Just basically a fucking really big...
Like a mini keg?
Yeah, a mini keg that carries... Yeah. Like carrying yourself a good gallon of fucking booze or something.
Like 2 gallons.
He fills it with his special recipe of whatever items he can manage to get at the time that fit his design of hot sauce. So yeah, his main thing is he cooks for the group. He loves to season things with his special Tumba sauce. And he always... he can eat straight up raw chicken right off the fucking, right out of the fucking plucked feathers. But he's willing to burn it for the weak stomachs.
I don't know, but what do you plan on doing? So if you're wanting it to be in a main character,
like character development,
he's not going to be in the same world as the world you're designing, are you? Because if you're designing the world he's going to be in, then you know exactly what's going to happen to him next.
I only design the world in structure, not in story. I don't want to write the campaign he's going to be played in. But I can design the world around it.
We could always stay within the same realm.
Exactly.
Because I want to be able to like have an explanation for like all the different worlds. Why there's the
so it's kind of like you craft the vast world, and then as you create stories, you fill in smaller details of the map. So like the world will build itself more and more. Like who's here and who's here as we decide to put things there. We just build the larger world and let it fill itself in. And yeah, like I said, like I can design aspects of the world, and as long as I don't write the story that he's going to be questing in, it won't matter if I maybe know the map layout. Just to make excuse for that, have Tumba get a map.
Hey guys, I found a map.
That way, when I'm like, well, I know that if we go this way, and also I can always not abuse meta knowledge.
Yeah, but sometimes that's harder said than done.
Well, not true. Like just because I know there's a secret path here on the map, if you don't. If you put it up to a dice roll and make sure I need a fucking really great roll to actually know it's there.
It's still you have meta knowledge, because if you don't know, if I say a word, like a trigger word that makes you suspect it, like without knowing about the trap, you have to gather information yourself, as long as the DM's good enough. Like, I'm not good enough to, like, make traps not obvious.
I wasn't even talking, like, specifically in traps. Like, I shouldn't know anything about the traps that should be in a quest. That's what I'm saying. That stuff's filled in a little deeper once you craft the story. Oh my god! Another one of those characters. I know I mentioned earlier the bard, who's basically like a really supportive like fitness coach, gym teacher type with the whistle necklace and the like track jacket. Whose entire thing is just to be super supportive of the team, that like give him morale boosts.
Very buff Coach Steve.
Yes. Very buff Coach Steve. The most positive, supportive teammate possible.
Are we friends? We're friends. I support you, friends.
It's like, now we are brothers. Oh my god, that character running up on the fucking monk gym.
That's heaven for him.
I have a bard. But he could just stand there and motivate them to exercise even harder. He would be the perfect fitness coach at the monk gym.
Until he ends up convincing them to go to war because the other gym isn't as good.
Cobra Kai cannot be allowed to carry on like this.
We have to take care of.
Are you ready, bros? Bro!
That's all the monks in this world are gym bros.
That's like, so perfect. All monks are gym bros.
And they all hate each other like football fans.
At the same time, they're all just kind of like, it's basically the frat guy vibe.
Like, would it all be the same religion, or...
The religion is brohood.
So they all go abide by the bro code.
Yes.
But it's like, we can't kill each other, but we can still beat each other up.
Oh yeah, it's like, you could always exchange fists. As long as you're willing to hug afterward.
Brosive Accord.
I got one more. Who initially... like, I just wanted to name a character this. Their name is Gertov. First name Gertov. Last name Menards.
What was the first name?
Gertov.
And what was the second name?
Menards.
And what was the first name?
Gertov. Menards. Gertov Menards. And it's another NPC. He's a stagecoach driver, just a point A to point B driver. Another fucking travel NPC.
The hell of everybody travel.
Who does not charge gold. He charges you in entertaining him along the way in whatever means he deems fit.
What do you mean, like?
I mean, he'll just keep taking you where you want to go, as long as you're willing to do whatever he asks.
Like going to.
That's a weird gamble as a party, isn't it?
Like, I'll take you, but you gotta do something for me.
I mean, like, the more dangerous area he's in, the more he's willing to ask for to fuck with you. He has fucking Menards painted on the side of his carriage, because it's what he named his ride. You know how some people, like, name their car Sally or some shit? He named it Menards. So if he ever kicks you off the caravan, he's just like, alright, get off Menards. It's so dumb. It's so dope. But just imagine that, like, I got your party. Imagine that as an NPC. Like, that's an NPC we could both utilize, who's just a tradable world character, who just, you can offer the party a ride with this guy. They groan and get on because you know the DM's pushing you to do it. And then you could do dumb shit, like, you're riding along and you're like, well, I could do some random interaction here, or I could just be like, alright, Gertov has suddenly decided to stop the caravan. You're in a field of yellow wildflowers, all that are tall as your average hobbit, let's say. 4.5 to 5 feet-ish.
You're saying all hobbits are the same?
And he tells you to go out in these vast fields and find him one rare green flower that grows within them. And he's like, yeah, do this and then ride. You can walk from here. Just any dumb task or a trial or just, like, looks over and is like, all right, you, barbarian, I need you to just punch that bard. He's getting on my nerves. And the bard says, wait, whoa, think about this. Yeah, then you got a party member trying to charm another party member to not hit him in the face. You know what I mean? You got the perception, the persuasion moments, the barbarian hitting the bard in the face.
Sounds like a beautiful moment you've crafted in your head that'll never happen.
No, of course not. But all in all, like, the things you could have this NPC force a party to deal with at the least.
See, if we could make that D&D game that I want to, the role-playing game, I think it would be better if I just call it the role-playing game, you could actually make that one of the DLCs.
You've been hired to escort him, or, well, no, that wouldn't work.
No, he would just be a part of the world that...
Oh, yeah, I remember now. You're talking about the one that's not so tabletop.
Basically like a tabletop.
No need to over-explain it. We've discussed that. But yeah, no, just make that a character in it.
And where people can choose what they want.
It's the fast travel mechanic. The fast travel mechanic that randomly might stop along the way and demand you to do something or be left here. And often will.
I know we're right above a volcano, but
I need you to stop and juggle these 3 glass balls for 2 minutes without breaking any.
Or you will die.
I'll leave you up here with no water.
Juggling for a minute and 30 seconds, you end up dropping one.
And of course make him one of those stupidly overpowered NPCs. Or like literally, if you attack him, he will never offer you another ride and fast travel is gone.
I still like your necromancer.
True, not all fast travel would be gone. But you'd have to travel to the locations that you can actually utilize it. You know what I mean? There'd be way less NPC necromancer stations than there would be carriage locations.
I mean, if the world's built around this company existing.
Yeah, but still, like the airport versus the bus stop. How many can you put down?
I feel like be able to put more airports because you can just have more dragons come in than at a bus stop.
How many dragons you got?
How strong of a necromancer are you?
See, this sounds like a system. All this sounds like companies, not single person work. Either that, or it's a one necromancer controlling a single dragon, or maybe
I'm talking
3
about
dragons.
A capitalist medieval world.
Yeah, where it's like these necromancers are trained to do this job by a greater necromancer who originally came up with the idea, and now delegates the work out to pilots. Wait, no, we need a pun name for a pilot that's flying a dead dragon. He called them Skylots.
Skylots?
Yes, because they pilot you through the sky.
Let them fly! They're Skylots!
What do we call this fucking company? Oh, Dragon...
Dragon Tales.
I could say Dragon Air, but that's just a Pokemon.
Dragon Air.
It's pretty good.
I'm not opposed to it.
That's pretty good, actually.
At this point, it's not even a real world anymore. It's a comic.
Yeah, well, you know anything I write's gonna have a lot of dumb humor in it that actually makes for really interesting ideas.
So, like,
but yeah, it'll be a comedy.
Tweak your character, like, 30 years down the line when he's an older orc. Because, you know, they age slower, but him being half orc, he's still kind of like human. So when he's, like, in his 60s, he could be like a French cook. Yeah,
he actually pursues greater lines of cooking. Like, I mean, that is his dream. He introduces himself as a chef before a barbarian. He introduces himself as a chef. If you ask him what kind of fighter he is, he's a barbarian. Like, if you need to know his class, but he is a chef by nature. So when you send him into town, he's gonna maybe buy a couple good foods, but he's gonna be stocking up on supplies for the meals. Like at the rest, he's gonna be the one who starts sitting at the campfire and cooking for the party. Like his concern is always going to be food. Oh, I would love to learn. Like there's got to be some kind of in-game skill where I can like work on blessing my food for where it's actually like basically like a low-level heal potion. That'd be like obviously that required like it's a mantra, it can only be done once or twice a day. Like or maybe placed on a single meal that makes this many portions.
A high level spell called 8 level spell called Feast, where you just have a big bounty of food that gives you stat buffs.
That could probably be done, something I could do during like a full rest situation where like you have the 8 hours to prepare it all.
That's just DM shit, like.
Yeah, but
like
you wouldn't be like. Obviously, I'm over realizing it. Like you couldn't prepare a feast in an hour alone at a campfire, so you couldn't do it at a short rest.
You're also trying to make this character OP. As you get small things, man.
You just have to know when to tell a character no.
Salmonella
resistance is not overpowered.
To make potion food.
See, that was like there's a spell. There's a spell called good berries.
Yeah,
it's literally a berry. You eat the berry, and it counts as a I think a short rest.
It gets like
which before it gives you like a D4 heal and like gives you back spell slots. You could read the spell and get more information. But basically, that's what I'm asking. Like, could I not get a good berry style cooking recipe, barring I get the ingredients, or like I said, it requires like almost like a spell slot, limiting my ability to abuse it, and even then, not something that I could do at level 1.
I mean, that's more like asking to create a new spell or something. Or
I love home brewing, like not everything's got to pull from the book.
That's all DM shit, man.
Yeah.
Or if you're writing a story yourself, that's a story thing you can do yourself.
Yeah, but even if I'm right, Tumblewumba's not an NPC. He's one of my playable characters, which means any of these ideas I have to approve through the DM well before it's applied.
Don't be pointing at me like I'm a DM. I don't like DMing. I like playing.
We need to get someone who would be a committed DM.
I plan on having an open house for whenever somebody wants to come in here this summer, and it's like twice a month. You know, whoever wants to join can join.
Or like I said, we could try to get together and like find other people online who would be interested to do it like over Discord or something.
Yeah.
As long as everyone's got enough internet signal. It's impersonal, but it's still...
It's harder because then they can't move the pieces, they can't see the board, so they're like, where am I? Where am I in relation to the monster? They got too many questions they be asking, and then the internet start fucking up. It's just not worth it. It is impersonal, so it takes it away because you're now spending more time dealing with internet fuckery than hanging out with people.
You get Adolph Menards.
And then, even though I really want to do this as adults, it's so fucking hard to be able to get time off.
Time and other people's scheduling is wild.
So, I did think about one thing is having a group D&D thing, like text-based adventures.
I could do it. I mean, we have to work out a system for fair and honest, like, roles. That is the only real challenge, right?
Or we can just simplify it and make it 50-50.
Oh, still.
It's meant to just be, it's a text-based adventure.
Yeah, but how do you know how the 50-50 is getting chosen?
Flip a coin. Everybody has a coin on them.
Yeah, but how do we know they're flipping a coin?
You don't know, it's like...
It's gonna be like, oh, yeah.
I guess that's all, see what the DM would be able to choose. It's like, he knows which one's A and B.
Let me look, there's something here.
Or, okay, choose a number, and I would choose, if you're close, it works. If you're far away. Because no matter what, I could just say, fuck that, and whatever arbitrary thing you did happens anyway. Because, like, you can't send me a screenshot of dice, because you might just keep fucking...
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
So that's the 15th time I've seen that.
You just keep recording until you get the roll you want. You keep kicking our fucking hearts in.
I keep forgetting about them existing.
Oh, damn.
I feel like it would just be more on the lines of the DM does what he wants, don't be a dick. It's y'all just reactionary to what's going down.
So, literally just more in the role play.
Yeah, like,
which means you gotta bounce off the wild shit we say as well.
And I could, like, say, everybody goes by their equal terms until...
You should check out a YouTube channel.
I don't want to.
Called Recreo.
I don't wanna.
They basically just do this. They get together and like sometimes a lot of it's like made out of existing things. Like a lot of the series I watch them do is the Can You Survive series, which is like Can You Survive Pokemon, and it's like you three, which is the other people who are in the group. Oh, it like sets them up in the storyline of Pokemon, and like here's the Pokemon you get. Like literally so what do you do here? What do you do here? Well, this happens. And he's like, well, we'll base this off of a dice roll or a coin flip or
Whether all in person or on the phone?
On person or on Discord probably.
So
but
you can see what I'm talking about is doing on the phone.
There's so much that happens where like they just like fuck it. The role play said this is what happens, so this is how we're gonna play it, and then push it back towards story. Like, it's what you're talking about doing. not everything like requires like a dice flipper or a dice flip.
I could make it linear or just like literally just going off exactly
A
what
B
you're saying.
path choosing.
But that's the thing. It's like don't want to be like
too linear.
I just killed the guy because
or try to override it. Like, yeah, just practice just role playing in general.
Okay, because if I kill off somebody's character, it's like, how did you justify killing off my character? What was the last thing you did? Went to the house. Well, the last sentence was pretty obvious that you shouldn't have gone into the house. It was a creepy house where you saw something green dripping from it.
We should just sit down and play like Betrayal at House on the Hill or something before too long.
I'm done with that. I've played it multiple times, and each time it's been a different adventure.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
So, I do like that about it.
It's got all kinds of adventures in
and
it.
Also that Dragon Inn. The Red Dragon Inn.
Yeah, we could get...
We've never played that.
Nope, but I want to.
What, 3 to 4, right?
I think you can do it with 2. I just wasn't excited about only having 2 people. I'm gonna get Oaf and drag them into it.
Yeah, just gotta find 4 people.
Plus, like, again, I would totally bring that to RP, like, the D&D sessions. Because that's basically, like, at the end.
Yeah,
it's the drinking game at the end after you're done adventuring.
I mean, did you get to choose?
Your character cards are even like RPG style characters.
But you'd have to be like, oh, I'm a rogue, so I'll take this ranger. That's the closest thing to my character. And if you win, it's like my character's the only one that's still conscious.
Yeah, like the one who's either if you end up broke or unconscious by means of alcohol or pain, whatever, or poison. But yeah, if you end up broke or unconscious, you're out. You're partying the night away after a day of adventuring. That'd be a great way if everyone's got the energy. You end a night's campaigning and you're
gambling, like losing a lot of gold.
Yeah, but that'd be like a thing you could do at the end of a quest line when you return back to town and you go to the inn, or anytime you go to an inn, you could just break out the board game. It's like, and we've made it back to the insert this title in. And we whip out the Red Dragon Inn board game.
I'm sorry, but how difficult would it be to make a 4-player text-based adventure that has sequenced adventures? So basically what it'd be is, like, it'd say a big paragraph. Boom. Everybody reads that. Let's say initiative. So everybody would see, like, a waiting screen. Like, you ever played Words with Friends and shit? There's a waiting screen in that shit. So all you would have to do is see what's going on. Or you wouldn't have to see anything, you just see the words. You don't have to see any kind of combat. So having it to where, I know a lot of people don't trust the random generated whenever it comes to rolling dice, but if it's like the character says roll for initiative, what you'd have to do is either wait for a character to do it or
you could just say fuck it and just say, hey, you first, what do? You don't even have to roll for initiative.
I'm saying just like making what should be, it sounds like a simple thing. Not like connecting.
Okay, allow your players to choose a character that initiative is part of its base stat. So a fast character can go first every time at the loss of defense or attack.
So basically.
You have to trade off for a character trait. Everyone has a trade-off. One of them being high initiative. Like the heavy armor character would probably have a lower initiative because your turn order is always forced at that point.
I'm saying, like, I just want a sandbox game where you just throw me all the items and I can make my own shit, but it still gives me packages I could buy to start with.
Gary, we just need to go into Gary's mod.
Exactly, like Gary's mod. This is like making a whole game within Gary's mod.
They do it. They make a lot in Gary's mod. If there's quality, you're not going to get this level of quality like you're looking at on this Bloodborne screen here. But
in the very beginning, I'm talking about just using words. And then eventually upgrading to 2D picture.
Look, I remember I sent you that link a while back where someone made an entire D&D style world within Minecraft. A full RPG world.
How do you change mechanics?
A little bit of modding.
I don't know modding enough to be able to take a game like that and tweak it enough to be like
hell,
totally different game.
What stopped people from fully modding Skyrim itself to be an RPG of a world?
What do you mean, like the stuff they've added to it?
You could change the names and lines of AI.
That's finding specific script though and taking it out and changing it.
I'm aware.
But no, they couldn't make. It's like taking Skyrim and making it a driving game.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that, but you can make.
But no, that is because
RPG.
taking Minecraft and making it a turn-based.
I didn't say it was turn-based.
Oh, then
I just said it was a full RPG world, like D&D style,
You can go and just buy stuff. Well,
within Minecraft. And actually, they did make turn-based Minecraft. They made actual open-world Pokemon in Minecraft with turn-based standard Pokemon combat.
how do they make it wait? I'd have to see the video of it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I've
Because
never.
people know how to fuck with a game, man.
I mean, that's just adding a bunch of shit. You'd have to know how to make
But that's what I'm saying.
script
Like,
of Pokemon.
all of what you want can be done.
Oh yeah, it's just why hasn't it? It seems like it's a simple way to be able to play D&D with people without them needing to be around, and you make it wait. But if you have somebody who's never around, don't fucking have them in your party. You could have it turn to a setting to where skip them. If Dave is taking 3 days to make a decision, kick him out of the party. It's not meant to be a quick
Well,
thing,
actually, you
but
could
it's
just
not meant
have
to be
you
slow.
could just have a split party option, which then could remove them from the existing turn order because they're in a different location. If a person's not doesn't happen to be there that night, but you're not removing them from the party, or if you just have to pull someone out for a while, you just have a split party option that just removes them from the party, but they still exist in the world, so to speak.
Actually, for the very beginning of this, we don't even need to have a actual DM session. Like, hear me out. If we want to start a simple thing,
I can spitball one-offs. That's how I used to DM.
I'm saying I kind of want to get into coding and really just make a text-based, very bland but beginner set. Choose your own adventure with 4 players that would always have to lock in like what they want to do at the same time, and then let the story progress. If you make it, obviously, with it being text-based, you have to make it slightly linear, but they've got with enough.
You wouldn't have to make it too linear, I mean, I've
With
told
enough
you about the
creativity,
AI dungeon or whatever it is, haven't I?
Yeah,
You type in your role-playing line, and it just makes up what's coming next.
And with AI, what I love about it is I can add just pieces of it, and it combines and makes different versions. Like,
Of course, it also at this stage makes a lot of mistakes.
keeping it simple.
Yeah, you have to guide it.
Like just keep
Without-
it simple,
you
like
can
a
also
computing
confuse it.
machine, without expecting it to make up new things. Because I played one of those AI games, and it was pretty cool. It was a zombie game. And it
Well,
said, what
AI
would you like to
Dungeon
do?
makes up new things. It kind of utilizes what I think it utilizes what you're doing, and then uses like a library of storytelling and pre-existing things to be like, if you say zombie, it'll talk about a bite and victims and maybe your family and.
In the AI game I played, it did it did make it sound kind of realistic. Like it said, you come up
Sometimes it also just fucks up and like forgets that you were unarmed and suddenly you have a gun in your hand or.
That's the issue. Yes, it would say like.
Like AI
One
still
minute
makes
you have
mistakes.
a gun in your hand, next minute you're hanging off a cliff. I was like, what the fuck? What just happened? But no, I'm not talking about AI that does stuff like that. I'm talking about like for even in the beginning, just making big enough adventures where a group of 4 people can just sit down and have this game. Like adults, we can't sit down and play this like together. We can't get together, but we can all like get 20 minutes to be on our phone, and that's 20 minutes throughout the day. So if it's just a roll, you get an alert on your phone, you pull it out, tells you to roll. Initiative, you hit the button. Maybe you get the highest initiative and you have to go. And if that's the case, you just put your phone away so people are going to be waiting on you. Maybe you'll be the last one, and then everybody gets a notification. You'd get a notification saying when it's your turn. It's like you have to wait for everybody to do all their shit, and then it all happens like at the same time. That way, it's like, what is everybody's train of thought? And
yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
You can either do with text-based. You can either do it to where you actually type it in, and you would have to really rely on AI, or you can have it to where it's like choice-based. That way every character has...
Kind of like a voting system.
Not a voting system.
I mean, you are... there's a party mechanic involved. So there probably would be some situations where it's a voting system and like party majority wins.
Oh, yeah, okay, yes. So it's like...
And whenever there's a tie, then you get your coin flip.
I'm talking about like in combat, what would you want to do? But yes, if it's... There should be something like that. It's like, okay, so you have the choice between executing the king...
Or just like
using
left
him
or
as a
right.
vassal.
Two party members say left, 2 party members say right. Alright, flip a coin. And then it might just ask one character to pick heads or tails, and that character's whichever side they were on the vote of,
Everybody's
the flip is
or
determined
even
that
say
way.
You want to split the party and something like... If we
if it's split, yes, they split. If it's no, then you flip the coin and travel together.
I think with enough help, we can actually
course, split party would sound interesting too, especially if they were like they didn't go meta and they didn't communicate what's happening on other sides.
They'd see like, well, it depends on what the story is saying to go. But I feel like
I think a split party should go totally dark on intel, and like you hope the players aren't telling each other out in the real world either.
It'll get like you have
you come fucking hobbling out on one side. Like they have like one side, the two people come out like happy day, like eating some fucking turkey legs they got at the carnival, and the other two come walking out of this dark forest. One of them's hobbled, their clothes are all torn, they're bleeding, and they're like, fuckers. It's like, yeah, let's go right.
Like they can have the choice. It's like, you guys want to go right, maybe give a little indicator. It's like they have chosen to go right, you have chosen to go left. Do you still want to go left? They will still go right. Okay, you can go 3-1. It's like, I think I was right. They all get fucked up. You walk out.
Well, it maybe indicates like your party. These members of this party chose differently. Do you want to revote
for something
or follow?
Like that, it would give a confirmation just to make sure no matter what.
You could choose to go with the ones who descended.
You'd leave clues.
You get those people, those contrarians, you're like, oh, I'm definitely going by myself.
Leave small clues to say which one to go. That way, some people will be like, no, I'm pretty sure the clue said to go right.
And if you die, like, you can only rejoin the party when they reach a certain point where they can recruit a new member.
Yeah, at the end of every chapter.
And it's like, then you can be recruited at that level, potentially allowing you to recreate your character to some extent, with some stat losses for death.
So I think the best way to do it is to make like a branching system of each.
Because, they got to be able to rejoin the party eventually.
Yeah, I see big things for this. I see big things for it, but right now, just doing word-based, I think, would be an interesting idea for people who just like to read and want to have a conversation with friends.
I agree.
So, I think I really should put more self-discipline in myself and sit down and learn Python. But it's so fucking hard, man. It's not fun.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. That you gotta pay someone or you gotta learn to do it right. But, folks, it is bedtime o'clock. So,
30 minutes.
That was a nice long podcast, wasn't it? Oh, that was only an hour. That's not too bad. Alright, folks, it's been Pucki. Enjoy the smoke on the way out.
Bye.